sorry about the setup. I'm just doing a quick video about flat earth and a globe earth. We from birth have been made to believe, right, that we're on a spinning globe. Okay, I'm using this onion as the globe, and we are spinning at 1038 miles an hour. Right. I'm not going to do a science video where I give you figures and facts and all that lot and numbers. I want it to be a common sense video, this. And my common sense is saying that we do not live on a spinning globe, right? Do you know why? Because the first thing that got me, well, the most important thing for me is the water. As we all know, water finds its own level, right? I can assure you right now, under no circumstances can water bend, curve or stick to the outside of any globe. Now they're saying there were chunks out of it, so even if I took chunks out of it and poured water on, but spun it at 1038 miles an hour, that water will just fly off. It won't stick. But then you come out with this gravity thing. Okay, that gravity is mysteriously pinning all them trillions of tons of ocean down onto a globe. Okay, that force is so immense to keep those trillions of tons of oceans in place, locked and bent and curved, right? Yet we can still walk freely, and yet a fly or a butterfly can float. Sugar stealers can float in the air in summer's day. Do you know what I mean? Bits of grass floats on a little bit of a breeze. Does gravity not like those things? Does it not work for them? You see, you globeheads, you love all that, right? Your facts, your figures, your bullshit science. But when it comes to common fucking sense, you hate it. You shy away from it. You have no answer for it. None. If you're saying gravity pins everything, right, including water, to the earth, and Australia's are now upside down, right, and it all goes in motion of the earth, that's what you always say, it all goes in motion of the earth. You won't feel it spinning, it's so irrelevant for the distance times the mass, all that science and mass bullshit you were fucking spoon-fed at school. Let me just tell you something. If I jumped up and you're going 1000 miles an hour, by the time I fucking landed I should be in Bolton or Burnley. But I'm not, I'm still here. Right? So then you say, well, you go with the motion of the earth. Well, if that's the case, I should be able to jump in the air, take a quick video, and see a time lapse of the earth rotating. Because 1000 miles an hour is not quick, you know. It's not fast. They do 240 miles an hour in a Formula 1 car, and their ends are pinned back to the car like that. Right? We can't feel any motion. Do you know what I mean? 1000 miles an hour, that's nothing. That's nothing, that's no speed at all, but you'd still feel it. You'd still feel it. But what my point is, if I jumped up and it's only going 1000 miles an hour and the circumference is what, 24,000 miles an hour, you get what I'm saying now? I should land somewhere else, shouldn't I? Because that 1000 mile an hour will not bring me back to the same place. So then you say, no, but when you jump, you go with the motion of the earth. How ridiculous does that sound? Because that brings the clouds into everything, you know. Because I've always said, when the earth's spinning like that, are the clouds mysteriously velcroed? And they say, all you globeheads, you say, yeah, it goes with the motion of the earth. What's this motion of the earth shit? This magical where everything's pinned to the rotation. It doesn't make sense. In fact, it throws itself in the face of science and physics. Nothing makes sense. But on a flat, unmovable plane, everything makes sense. We don't have to prove anything. I pour water on the earth, it will find its own level. Okay? We have gutters for when it rains and then it goes down the drain pipe. Gravity doesn't fucking pin it like that to me gutter. Water falls, it don't go and I can't move, Jim, I can't move. Gravity's got me again. You bastard, it's got me as well. Doesn't work like that, does it? You can't have one rule for one thing and then another for another. If gravity was such this force, a waterfall would be pinned to the mountainside, no? Streams would be locked in place like they were iced over. Think about what I'm saying. All this motion of the earth, that's the bullshit they spoon-fed you since birth. I might be rambling, I might be getting myself all mixed up, but I know what I'm on about. It's common fucking sense. I don't have to prove anything. Flat earthers don't. We don't feel any motion, any movement. Right? 1,000 mile an hour and you go poof, your head's flattened back into the seat. Have you been on that round up on the fair? It's only doing about 100 mile an hour and you fucking can't move. Because of the G-force, not the gravity or anything like the G-force of the spin. Now, that's what would happen if we were all spinning. But we've got this magic around us. That's the only thing you globeheads have got, this magical bit of atmosphere we've got around us. Like we're encased in a globe, like we're encased in something. Right? Now, this leads me on to another thing. This is why you're all hypocrites. You say, no, but we're locked into our atmosphere. So you're seeing it like an hypothetical barrier, aren't you? From the thingies of space. But we've all been brought up on space films, right? Where they go out and if one prick in their spacesuit and their eyes bulge out and they fucking explode because of the vacuum of space. The pressure of it. Have you ever dived down into the sea? The deeper you go and your ears start to pop. That's only a few feet. We're talking about thousands of light years, apparently, of space. The vacuum and the pressure, why doesn't it just go suck our little atmosphere out there? Why? Is our atmosphere so... Is it made of fucking like the most unbelievably strong thing known in the universe? Nothing can penetrate it. Listen, you've got to shake these shackles off from your brainwashing from birth. It's impossible. Water cannot stick to outside of a round thing. Any object, I'll pour water on that now, it'll just drip off. And no matter how much I spin it, it'll just spin off. The water will spin off. It'll be dry in no time. That's why you dry your clothes in a spin dry, you fucking idiots. This is what does me head in, no. You're thick. You can't even use the senses you were born with. When you look up and you see a plane flying in the sky, all I see on a summer's day is a checkerboard of contrails, chemtrails, all over the sky, right? Perfectly straight lines, perfect, like a checkerboard, right? Perfect. Now, if there was curvature, then planes you'd see dipping, because I can watch them for hundreds of miles, right? Especially with binoculars or anything, a telescope. I never see a dip. It's just perfectly straight. Wouldn't they be flying off to space with the curvature of the Earth? Wouldn't they? So that plane would literally have to be dipping every second, every 2 seconds. Dip, 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 dip. Pilot would be like that. Fucking, I'm getting pissed off with this because of the speed he's doing. See how ludicrous it is, a spinning globe? This is how brainwashed you've been. It's ludicrous, honestly. I can pour water and water will find its own level. Right? That's why it's called sea level. It levels out, does water. Anybody can show me a working model, right, in relation to the size of the Earth, any model whatsoever, any size, and we'll pour water on it, get it spin, and let's see if that water sticks, bends, curves, and sticks to it. Yeah? And then we'll make a model of a city, out of cardboard boxes if you want. You know, we'll scale it down in relation to the Earth, and we'll spin it around, let's see what happens. Right? You lot have been that brainwashed. It's unbelievable. But the people who say it's unmoving were all the facts. Right, just a quick one for this part two. I'm sorry about part one, it got cut off, but it gave me a few seconds to think about this. You'll see in the comments below, right, it'll say 500 years ago people thought it was flat and then they woke up, you know, and they stopped being stupid and realised it were a globe. Nah, what they did 500 years ago was change it to suit their agenda, right? Even that long ago this has been in fruition, right? The con has been going for hundreds of years, believe it, right? Thousands upon thousands of years before, right? Every race and creed knew the Earth was flat. Everyone, right? They drew the best they could of maps, the best they could, although they didn't have the technology we're blessed with these days, but they all drew more or less the same picture, the same map. 4 rivers running into the centre of the Earth where all compasses point to, right? That's where the all compasses point to, is a hole at the centre of the flat Earth plane, right? Where your 4 rivers flow in. Your aurora borealis comes out, right? That's another story. But listen to me, for thousands of years people knew the Earth was flat. And it's only till a few hundred years they changed the agenda. Not because they found out it was a globe. It's not a globe. They changed it for their own agenda. I just thought I'd clear that up.
I think every flat Earth researcher has seen the dog-cam high-altitude balloon videos. They're used a lot to prove the flat horizon. They're also used to prove a globe Earth, mainly because of ignorance surrounding wide-angle lenses and their effect on flat horizons. To find out if that footage represents a flat Earth or a globe Earth model, I animated each using identical camera movements. First, let's watch a little of the original. Things to look for: the presence or lack of hotspot on the surface of Earth, what happens to the horizon as it moves above and below the camera's center axis, and is there any motion parallax between the horizon and the sun as proposed by Rob Skiba. This hotspot on the surface of the clouds looks like a local phenomena, yet that would be impossible on the globe Earth or the flat Earth model at this latitude. This video was taken above the Tropic of Cancer. The only explanation I can see is that the Atmos plane itself is acting as a type of projector for a sun that is much higher, 3,000 or 4,000 miles up. And we are just seeing the image of the sun as it appears in the Atmos plane, 100 or 200 mile thick substance of water and gas vapor. Okay, that's enough for now. I will post the original link in the summary. Now let's analyze both models against the original.
Yeah, if you've seen the standard model right now, it shows the sun.
Yeah, the spiral.
Shooting through the universe
and spiraling,
and and everything else spiraling around it as it's going out there. Speaking of the sun, there's all kinds of weird things about the sun when you start actually paying attention to it. And there is, speaking of high altitude balloon tests, one of the most famous ones on YouTube that everybody's probably seen by now is the dog camera. It's the dog cam. It shows the wing of a support structure that has a camera and there's a little banner on it. It says dog cam, and it's probably using some sort of wide angle fisheye lens, but the horizon is pretty close to right across the center, so you're not really getting the distortion. And it's wobbling around a bit, but in several shots it shows the sun, and right below the sun on the Earth is a hot spot, like below the sun. Well, the sun's 93 million miles away, and it's so much bigger than Earth, putting one big parallel lines of light toward us. How are you going to get a hot spot directly below it? And the other problem with that is it's shaking and it's moving. The camera, the picture is.
So you're getting rolling shutter.
There is zero motion parallax. Now, if you've ever noticed, if you've ever driven down a road like out in like in Lubbock, Texas, there's this area where there's lots of windmills.
Yeah.
And nothing else. It's flat as can be.
windmills,
Windmills as far as you can see. And if you're driving, 80 miles an hour, whatever, on the highway, you notice that the windmills are beside you, or the closest to you, they're whipping by.
Yeah, really fast.
But the ones further in the distance, the further out you go, they're hardly moving.
I think the question Rob had was if there should be motion parallax between the horizon and the sun. The distance to the horizon at 110,000 feet is 406 meters. The distance to the sun in their model is 93 million. I think the reason they had to put the sun that far away was to avoid any issue of motion parallax.
Now, if the sun is 93 million miles away, then when you see the movement that weather balloon is doing, the horizon's coming in and out of frame and doing different things like that, there should be a notable difference between the speed at which the horizon is moving and the speed at which the sun, 93 million miles away, if there's motion parallax. There should be a difference.
Yeah.
The problem is they're in perfect sync. Perfect.
The horizon
sync.
and
the horizon and the sun are perfect sync in its movement, showing that it has to be a localized object. As localized as the hot spot and the horizon that's in the distance. And that was one of the first things that caught my attention when I saw them. Like, there's no motion parallax there. There should be considerable motion parallax with the Earth that close below you and an object 93 million miles away. There should be considerable motion parallax.
Now let's see how a swinging camera would appear on the flat Earth model. Same camera specifications and altitude as original. It doesn't look like there is any noticeable motion parallax between the flat Earth horizon and the local sun. Now let's see what the same exact camera movements look like on the globe Earth model. The sun does appear to move higher in relation to the horizon as it moves up to the top of the frame, but I think that is just due to the curvature of the lens where distortion will be the greatest. Now let's see all three together. In the next week or so I'll do another one of these comparing it to Rob Skiba's recent launch, and I will try to match the camera movements to the original as much as possible. In this case they are similar between the globe and flat, but the original is difficult to match as it has many cuts and edits.
Miles an hour. By the time I fucking landed, I should be in Bolton or Burnley. But I'm not, I'm still here. Right? So then you say, well, you go with the motion of the earth. Well, if that's the case, I should be able to jump in the air, take a video, quick video, and see a time lapse of the earth rotating. Because 1,000 miles an hour is not quick, you know. It's not fast. They do 240 mile an hour in a Formula 1 car, and their ends are pinned back to the car like that. Right? We can't feel any motion. Do you know what I mean? 1,000 mile an hour, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's no speed at all. But you'd still feel it. You'd still feel it. What my point is, if I jumped up and it's only going 1,000 miles an hour and the circumference is what, 24,000 miles an hour, you get what I'm saying now? I was doing a quick video about flat Earth and a globe Earth. We from birth have been made to believe, right, that we're on a spinning globe. Okay, I'm using this onion as the globe, and we are spinning at 1,038 miles an hour. Right. I'm not going to do a science video where I give you figures and facts and all that lot and numbers. I want it to be a common sense video, this. And my common sense is saying that we do not live on a spinning globe, right? Do you know why? Because the first thing that got me, well, the most important thing for me is the water. As we all know, water finds its own level, right? Do you know what I mean? Bits of grass floats on a little bit of a breeze. Does gravity not like those things? Does it not work for them? You see, you globeheads, you love all that, right? Your facts, your figures, your bullshit science. But when it comes to common fucking sense, you hate it. You shy away from it. You have no answer for it. None. If you're saying gravity pins everything, right, including water, to the earth, and Australians are now upside down, right, and it all goes in motion of the earth, that's what you always say, it all goes in motion of the earth. You won't feel it spinning, it's so irrelevant for the distance times the mass, all that science and mass bullshit you were fucking spoon-fed at school. Let me just tell you something. If I jumped up and you're going 1,000... Sorry about the setup. I can assure you right now, under no circumstances can water bend, curve or stick to the outside of any globe. Now they're saying there are chunks out of it, so even if I took chunks out of it and poured water on, but spun it at 1,038 miles an hour, that water will just fly off. It won't stick. But then you come out with this gravity thing. Okay, that gravity is mysteriously pinning all them trillions of tons of ocean down onto a globe. Okay, that force is so immense to keep those trillions of tons of oceans in place, locked and bent and curved, right? Yet we can still walk freely, and yet a fly or a butterfly can float. Sugar stealers can float in the air in summer's day.